I feel like before I used to have this thinking, I don't need friends. It's just me. I'm good all by myself because friendships always used to be stressful stories to this day.
So you was the Lone Ranger.
I didn't want to be the. We are very different paths of life. So we were like, should we actually be fighting for this friendship? Should we actually be? And we actually pray together. And we actually ask God, if you don't want us to be friends or not as close, we release it. And she's still here.
If not for God, I would not have her as a friend. And she said it like jokingly, but there's many things in life that I just do not like about people. Like, I don't even know if I tell you this. I had to pray for God to show me how to love that. Because I don't want to say the way that I was doing it was insufficient, but I wanted to do it in a way that she would receive it. And that in itself was stretching me because
Welcome to The Link, where we connect Christ to our broken world. Here on the podcast, we talk about all the important areas of life and culture, presenting Christ as the missing link that brings everything together. Join us on this journey on The Link podcast with your host, Professor X. Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Professor X and welcome to The Link. Guys, we are moving into the month of February and we know that this is the month of love. So with that being the case, we're focusing on relationships. But what we have to consider is that there are relationships outside of the romantic ones. We also have the pillar of friendship. So in this episode, I want to get into that. And today I have two lovely guests with me who have been friends forever and who are people that really love each other as, really close friends. So I believe that their story is going to inspire us. We're going to learn about true friendship and we're going to have a blast. So guys, we're going to get straight to the interview. Welcome my two guests, Destiny and Destiny. Guys, we are here. So glad to have you all on the podcast. Destiny.
yeah.
Destiny.
That's me.
First of all, let me talk about that, right? Because Destiny, I knew you from before, and then you told me you had your best friend, and her name was Destiny. And I told myself, this girl be Destiny.
That was not funny.
Oh,
Yeah, just
okay.
right.
You can
So,
pass.
yeah, so that had me from day one. And from what I heard from you guys, you've been friends for a really long time. So let's start with the origin story, right? How did you guys come together as friends? Where did that begin? Wherever y'all want to start from.
You go ahead.
Yeah, let me go.
Okay, go.
I see like her memory stretch further back than mine. I do remember we have this picture in our phone, right? I had on this brown jacket and this pink skirt, and she had on a green and white hoodie. And all I remember is that after a youth service, we took that picture, and then it took off from there. Destiny and Destiny all the time.
That's and that.
I think it was in like class 4.
Probably.
That far back.
Yeah, I think that's when I start remembering from. Yeah.
Cause we go to church together, so church. So when I first started coming to church at Fred Valley, she was coming to church there before me, even though they were friends. Anyways, I was like, who's this girl? You seeing him as me? Because it was so strange. I keep hearing something hard for Destiny, but it didn't mean me. I was also another Destiny, but I knew they always meant her. And my mom, it was like, who is this girl? And at first, I actually remember not talking with her often. It's just like it was in passing, and like she's a person that I know that goes to church with me, but she wasn't really like a friend. Like she cool. I know she cool. But I don't remember per se the period of life because it was reading through some old conversations. I was like, oh, we were barely friends. We barely
Hi, how you doing?
surface level conversations. That's it. And I don't remember, but for sure in COVID, and when obviously we home, we
Yeah.
started talking every day.
Okay. Can't get off the phone for nothing.
It wasn't even like on calls. It was just like tap
Every single day.
wake up to go to sleep. So
Yeah, I still know. So every morning when I wake up, and I do have a morning desk. I just started from COVID as a pattern, as a routine, till the point now if she doesn't message me in the mornings, I'm like,
Wait, why do you?
why you messaging? Why you not messaging me? So yeah, I think COVID definitely brought us closer together because we desire the same thing to know God deeper. So from there, we were able to blend a lot closer.
Right. So, all right. So we're talking about COVID. First of all, I hope that we notice, right? Anyone who's been watching our episodes before, you've seen that COVID brought about a lot of blessings.
For sure.
So we talked to Kristen Grace before. He talked about how COVID showed him his purpose. Now we see how it brought a friendship closer together.
Mhm.
So you guys said that you both had the same desire to follow after God, to get closer to God. And what was it about COVID that allowed that connection to form? Because in my mind, you guys knew each other, but before COVID, it was crickets. So what get them crickets to get out of the peanut gallery?
That's a very good question.
For some reason, being on the same youth committee is coming
Yeah,
to
that's
mind
true.
because we had to communicate more and then you had to plan sessions more. So we still had to maintain that communication as a youth committee with the other members. But then I feel like we were trying to build this sense of community within the youth department, and then it's almost like it spread into our personal life.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we know we have to plan this session. We could talk more outside of this session. How you doing in your relationship with God? Even she was my past mentor, Davida, Emma's wife, right? Davida, she was discipling us, right? So I feel like even within that, during COVID, we formed a group chat and we would talk all the time. So it's like we started to get closer as she pursued us. And I think that in COVID, that's what made me closer to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to add on to what that said, for me also, I feel like before I used to have this thinking, I don't need friends. It's just me. I'm good all by myself because friendships always used to be stressful stories to this day.
So you was the Lone Ranger.
I didn't want to be though, but I felt like it was a defense mechanism of like, I don't want to be hurt in another friendship because I experienced a lot of hurts in friendship. So it was like I didn't really about them friend thing. So I would intentionally draw away and isolate. But that isolating moments is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And in those moments at the end where I could come out, I realized, no, I really, really need people.
Yeah.
And recognizing that I need people, it actually brought a greater desire to draw closer to someone for sure.
And then now in COVID, when
Yeah,
it's like you're not doing the isolating,
yeah.
the whole world is isolated. So I could imagine how that season made it even clearer. Yo, I need people. I need
I
somebody.
need people
And that's amazing how you guys came together. And it's funny how ministry brought y'all together.
for sure.
Mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
That's another big thing on our channel.
Yeah.
Mentorship. Shout out to Davida. Yes.
I know she can watch this. Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Love you, Dee.
Imran Davida just brought forth a child.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Amazing miracle.
for sure.
So we saw how her commitment also brought you guys together.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, I'm seeing the power of mentorship. I'm seeing the power of God. Now let me talk about that. Because friendships can easily be surface level, as we found before. As we made friendships, especially as we were younger, we can make friendships we like the same movies. Or we made friendships because, we like the same things. But when God is in the center, I find friendships take a different twist.
For sure.
So for you guys, how has God being at the center shaped your friendship? What has that
I want to answer first.
journey been like?
Great.
Yes, Destiny.
Because you were talking about how you tend to go for people that like you saying things. That's are so opposite. Like what I like,
Who likes yellow?
what I like, she doesn't like. What annoys her, I do. And it's like, as like if you take about a lot of things that like we don't like as individuals, how are we friends? Like it doesn't. We shouldn't be like drawn to each other because there are a lot of like little things that be like, this girl is weird.
They're barriers, yeah.
So that's how I know it's God for sure. Because naturally,
not.
in the flesh, me, I'm like, you are, yeah. But I really like in our conversations, like it always come back to God. Like in every single like temptation, in a trial, like if one of we going through it, first of it, Almighty God, I pray that is the first thing our response to do is to bring God into it. And then even in terms of our friendship, I remember time we actually when we felt unsure about if we should even be as close as we were. I mean, I remember like we are very different paths of life. So we were like, should we actually be fighting for this friendship? Should we actually be and we actually pray together. And we actually ask God, God, if you don't want us to be friends or not as close, we release it. Yeah. And she's still here. Oh my God. And it's like, if I pray, and if we pray together and actually ask God for his will to be done in his friendship, I actually felt like after that point, we actually got closer.
Yeah.
Like, we were able to actually, I felt like we were actually being able to honest about what we were facing in life and be vulnerable with each other a lot more since I remember us praying and asking God, like, God, you know, and you know best. So it's up to you.
I agree with everything she said. I feel like I don't really have much to add except for personally, if not for God, I would not have her as a friend. And she said it like jokingly, but there
Yeah,
are many
seriously.
things in life that I just do not like about people. And I think we wouldn't discuss it a lot. I could be very
Go into it.
introverted. Yeah, I could be very introverted at times. And sometimes within being introverted, I could be antisocial. And it's like some persons may not, gel well with that personality, but it will tell that don't touch me. I should be like,
Yeah, because destiny is is that opposite.
so So I don't want to say opposites attract, but because of God, we did not like separate or go further from
For
each
sure.
other. And I feel like there's a balance. It's
Yeah.
always been a balance. I always found this relatability in her. We may not have gone through the exact same things in life, but she could be very understanding most of the time. But yes, she could be very understanding. And I saw like even if she did not relate to something because of the God in her, she was able to show like grace and mercy if I came with the same vulnerability. So as I said, it's not for God. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where we'll be.
And then another thing is the whole big topic of love languages is also what a huge spot to totally different love languages be. That's another thing. So I love gifts. I love gifts, and so it didn't always used to be that way. But over the years, as I started to learn me and discover more about what I like, I realized that I really like gifts. And then I also realized that quality time is very important for me. But that's way of love language is not gifts. Right? It's not gifts. So I feel like I would randomly say, oh, let me buy this thing for that. Let me get, as a gift, just because. Just because. But that money doesn't go there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Moving on with life.
I used to be like, what the heck? And I used to be wondering, honestly, at a point, I remember us and her feeling like, if she actually used to make me feel loved or if I felt loved by her because her way of showing love to me was necessarily not in a way that I would have liked. And I had to learn like her love language also in that process and recognize her words. Her just saying she want to come out and help me on do my hair or something. That was her, or her texting me every day telling me what she's doing was her way of showing love. And I had to be open-minded for that. And at the same time express in seasons like that's I would really appreciate if, you did that or I didn't like da 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 da. Yeah.
The one thing I get from your guys' friendship is the fact that it stretches both of you.
For sure.
Right? This is one thing about godly friendships that I would put money on. God puts you with people that stretch you.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that is the significance of you guys being so different because, like you said, you have different love languages. So then you need Jesus to figure out how do I love this person.
Yeah.
So I found that in my own friendship with my best friend. We're also quite different in certain things. For me, I like to go around the bush. He is direct. So in terms of we also depend on Jesus to figure out how we can break the news to him in this, how we can talk to him
Yeah.
about that.
Talk about conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for you, Destiny, how has God helped you to love Destiny the way she needs to be?
Oh, that's deep.
I can talk to you about that one.
That is deep. Let me leave from very good. I realized that actually, I think it's last week. The preacher was saying the best way to show somebody that you love them is to speak their language, right? To learn to speak their language. And that was a process. And that was a process because as she would have mentioned with the gifts, right? My love language at that time was like acts of service, quality time. So it's
Yeah.
like, how can I do something here for you in a way that is a gift, but I still feel like this is genuine?
Right.
Because in as much as I want to cater to you, I don't want to do it just because you told me to. I want to do it from a place of love.
I understand
right?
that. Yeah.
So I had to pray. Like, I don't even know if I tell you this. I had to pray for God to show me how to love that. Because I don't want to say the way that I was doing it was insufficient, but I wanted to do it in a way that she would receive it. And that in itself was stretching me because sometimes I just bum. This is how I am. That's who you are. Oh, well, if we don't meet, that's life. And it's not to say I do not care, but it's almost like I cannot do anything about me or about this characteristic about myself. And this is how you want to receive love. I don't want to make you change that or shift that. So one way that I have been stretched is how I show that love to her. So there was a year I was like, okay, my love language is words of affirmation. You like gifts. I got like these 6 photos of her, like that I thought was like really nice. I showed her that.
Yeah. She showed me that. Yeah.
And I wrote a poem for each photo and I put it together in this little pamphlet thing. I think at the time we weren't even like speaking well. That was our birthday. Yeah. I think, boy, that weren't even like, I remember that. But I was like, gosh, I have to do this for her. So I put it together and I gave it to her and she cried because she loves me. But that was, that was my way of compromising on her behalf. So I think he definitely stretches me in terms of showing the love to her that I may have, but might bad at expressing. Yeah.
I think it's important to highlight that because when we think about compromise, we usually think about romantic relationships. But even with friendships,
Yeah.
you have that situation where this is me, this is you, and we gotta find a way to meet in the middle. I find that whenever you want a friendship to go to the next level, we always gotta take the risk of potentially butting heads.
For sure.
So, with that being the case, y'all talked about stretching. Was there ever a point where it felt like your friendship stretched so much it might have broken?
I know exactly. Like,
You know, now you can talk first.
I wonder if it's the same thing.
Me and totally same thing.
I do. All right. So I lived in Jamaica. I was gonna talk about Jamaica. You talking about something else?
We got 2 stories there. Story number 1.
So for me, I moved to Jamaica to study in my last year for university, and so I didn't live in Barbados for approximately like 9 to 10 months. And during that time, that was a very, very hard time for our friendship, for sure. For me, from my perspective, like, that was very hard because even before I left from Barbados, I felt like this girl was already moving distant. Like, I felt like she was not even acknowledging the fact that I was actually leaving like tomorrow.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Just popping in to say that if you haven't already, make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to stay updated with all of the content that is coming your way. Join me on the journey of finding the missing link. Peace.
I felt like she was not even acknowledging the fact that I was leaving or stuff. I was so very familiar. Like, she can miss me, or is leaving that feeling like pain or suffering or pain.
I know that feeling.
What's going on? I later found out it was just that it was so hard to express and communicate how she was feeling and how deep she would miss me in that moment. Yeah. But then in Jamaica, obviously living in 2 different countries, and quality time was an important thing for us also. Not getting to spend as much time together in person. Because then even so we live in 2 separate lives, 2 busy lives. And to even say we don't really call. We never really used to call. So then to say we can go on calls was so strange, was so weird. Both of us building friendships. I building friendships in Jamaica, and she also started university at the same time. So she building friendships while she at UB too. So it felt like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
We drawing apart now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cried so bad. And I was like, I really miss her, but I didn't know if there was anything for me to do or for me to say. And even when I moved back home, it was honestly still difficult for us to get used to being in the same country again.
Yeah.
That was even a other process to be in the same country again. In Jamaica, I just felt like we were just trying to constantly reassure each other that the love is still the same. We would try to share on updates on what was going on in our lives and what was really happening in our minds or spiritually and stuff like that to keep the connection there. But I can definitely say it was not the same, but it was definitely like
We almost at the end.
I know we can talk about no. I just remember. We can talk about.
But I kind of want to respond to that. Alluding to the question that you would have said before is like how different we are, because in that time, like Des was trying to cling closer, and I was like, man, I'd rather just wait till you fully back because I don't want to invest in this and then feel your distance because you have to go back.
Yeah.
Even when she came back,
I came home for Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she was speaking about the distance. But my thing, personally, I could say that it was not ideal. It wasn't the best way to deal with it. But my mindset at the time, she's going to leave again. Why am I going to be so excited and we build all this for me to cry and cry even worse? I was just like, I'd rather stay away from you. So when you come back, I can give you all the love and all the hugs, which it was not good.
Yeah.
I didn't really think it through. In the midst of the feelings, like, where's she going again? It's like, nah, this is the best thing for me to do.
And you know what's so crazy? I didn't know she was feeling that way.
No.
So for me, my mind just seeing this girl moving distance. So when I came home for Christmas, and she was also going through something separate from our friendship. So when I came home from Christmas and I'm seeing that she's moving distant, I'm like, what's going on? We was talking about, she didn't even know I was coming home for Christmas. It was a surprise. We was talking about how much we miss each other and all sort of thing. And it was like, wait, you miss me?
Yeah, you moving. It don't look like
You couldn't have missed me.
Yeah.
Because I hear no. And then a weekend before I left. The weekend before I left? I can't remember.
We went to the beach?
Yeah, we went to the beach. A whole group of us from church went to the beach. I felt like, no, I need to talk with her because this is weird. This is very, very weird. So I pulled her aside and we walked the beach and we cried so bad. We cried. I cried. I cried because we both recognized that it was the pain of Jenny just missing each other.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at that and I hear communication.
I was thinking that in my head.
Because this is the storyline in my head. You go to school, you miss her, she misses you, but the communication ain't quite there. So to you, it just felt like she moving sideways.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now we're at the beach. We have that moment where it comes out.
Yeah.
So if we could talk a little bit, what did you guys learn from that? The communication, did it get better after that?
The thing is, right? In smaller matters, yes. Because we learn, I can't read your mind. She not. We realize there's no way the other person will know unless you say it. And we had to be real honest that sometimes it can come out raw.
Yeah.
I didn't let you say that. We didn't let you say that. Because and sometimes it will come out rah, and sometimes it will come out. But we had to learn how to work. We had each other's best interest at heart.
Yeah.
So the best thing or one thing that we had to keep at the forefront of our mind during communication is that we're not against each other.
Yeah.
We're trying to work with each other.
Yep.
And there was only one instance thing that I can recall where it felt like
We had a meeting with Imran.
where
It was so serious. We had bring Imran.
we felt like, okay, we learn how to communicate with each other, but there may be underlying stuff that we made, like in the past, it was like, man, I can't address this. I can't address it. I'm suppressing it. That when something that was seemingly smaller happened,
Yeah.
all of these emotions just burst out. And I said stuff like, you always do this. And she's like, always? What do you mean always?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in the heat of the moment, it's just like, I could name this, that.
Bring any closer, love.
And then she just said, well, you never told me this. If we's really friends,
Don't
could have
talk
talked
like
this,
Friday.
taking offense. And I'm like, nah, I need to get this out. So sometimes in the heat of the moment, communication was at the forefront. And even after it died down, it's like, well, that's some real things that you just said to me. So we had to bring a third party that I don't want to say, like we had to have some sort of therapy session, but he had to sit us down.
Yeah.
are relating to us because it's like, okay, I spoke to her, she spoke to me, but we ain't really hearing everything the other person has to say. So sometimes the best thing to do for communication is to include somebody else. I'm not telling you to go and tell this buddy everything and try to twist up the story, but be honest and vulnerable. Was I wrong? Can I admit that I was wrong?
Yeah.
And that was probably the biggest thing when it came to communication that we had to resolve with another person. But sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, for me, I think she's better. She was always better at communication than me in terms of expressing her feelings. She's very confrontational, always me, and
Not rudely, most of the time. All right.
let's not talk about that. Right. Anyways, so for me, I could be very petty, and in the past, it used to be very bad. No, it's not as bad for sure. Like if I feel it arising, I know I need to step away because I could actually be very petty if I'm being really honest. And I felt like because God was working on me, it then reflected in our friendship. So it like he used the friendship to do that work in my heart and work in that process. And like that's if you value this is me talking about like that's if you value the friendship, you cannot respond this way. If you value the friendship, you need to communicate how you feel. Like I had to be talking down myself, and I also used to feel like I always had to put up a defense wall. Like she come to me and expressing how she feels. I was telling her this out a couple weeks ago. It was something I was very proud about. That I see growth in where I felt like if she came to me and just wanted to express how she felt about something, I would feel myself in this defense. Like like I heard what she said, but the feelings part. I yeah, but I was ready to defend my side. I don't recognize sometimes how a person feel is how a person feel. Like I have learned to validate how she feels, even when my mind does not necessarily understand. It's how you feel. And I'm sorry, but my intentions were blah 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 blah. I will explain what my intentions were. But for me, really having to break down those defenses and figure out for me the root issue of why they always feel like I need to defend, why they always feel like I need to prove my point. And that was a hard process for me, but then on God working on that in my life, it then reflected in our friendship.
Yep. Yeah. The big thing I realize, and this is a huge principle for friendships, they take work. I find that when we think of friendship, too often we can get nonchalant about it. We can think it can just happen natural, things can just fall into place.
Yeah, I wish I was like,
Me too. But the truth is, if we want deep, meaningful relationships, friendships, we gotta be willing to go there. Talk about the things that hurt. Talk about the things that we misunderstood. The things that we thought, expectations that ain't meeting. And to have the courage and boldness to have them conversations. Because then what happens afterwards is you realize, oh shoot, boy, everything is the wrong thing. And then what was out here comes closer.
precisely.
Much, much closer. Now, if y'all would give me 1 second, right? I want to talk to my fellas. Because another stigma is that what we talking about now is okay for females, but for the guys, we gotta suppress. Now I gotta look in this camera. Fellas, we need to work on our friendships. We need to go deep, to get personal, to get vulnerable. Once you found someone that you trust and you found someone that you want to walk this life with, take the step to put yourself out there. Trust me, as a man, I understand that it is uncomfortable. It's not going to feel good. It's going to hit deep places inside of you that you prefer to keep on the side. But I'm telling you, when you find a man that you can put your trust in with the darkest parts of you, there's a safety that you find that is unmatchable. You can't find it anywhere else. So guys, I am begging you, find that guy, get in community contact, and go there. You will not regret it. Thanks. I needed to say that. But when I think of your story, I see how God was able to take people who are almost two polar opposites and stretch them and grow them and show them it's worth it. I want to talk about that. The fact that friendships are worth fighting for. Anything to say there?
I got to ponder on that. You want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
Like going back earlier, what I said about not wanting to need friendships or wanting to need people.
Yeah.
I felt like because I lived from that place for so long, like if a friendship ended, I would feel sad. I felt like, mm, ugh. And there's some friendships to be honest that ended that I'm happy they ended, or there are other friendships that ended where I felt like I try to fight for that. Like I try to fight for that friendship because truth is like things just happen.
Yeah.
Like you have difference of opinions. It happens.
Yeah, it does.
And because over years, I have learned how much I need people and how much I actually really love people. Like over the years, like of learning that about myself, I find that it's so hard for me to let a friendship go now. Like, oh my God.
And there's not a weakness to need people.
Yeah, it's not at all. Like, people like with all people like God literally made Eve because Adam was alone, and it was not that Adam went to God and said, God, I need somebody.
Yeah.
God saw Adam's loneliness and him being alone and made Eve for him. Like I know that that's what romantic, but that's with people.
Yep.
Like we were not created to be alone. We were not made to be alone and standoffish, and we need people. We were designed for people. And I think in recognizing that, no, I'd be fighting for friendships until I say to myself, I did everything that I could have.
Yeah.
Like if I realized a friendship died, I could now say for my peace of mind, I did everything that I knew to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, Des?
Yeah, for myself, I find that I could be very extroverted in some situations. Like I can make friends fast.
Right.
When it comes to keeping them, it's not necessarily that they have done me wrong or that I have done them wrong, but some persons I don't like to keep that closely, right? And that's always been the case for me. In fact, somebody in my list told me that I don't keep friends, right? And when I heard that, that made me start to think. I was just like, I keep friends. Would that hurt my feelings? But it felt like it hurt my feelings. But I feel like within this friendship is like, yes, the times used to be rough, but it never felt rough enough to be like, that was she.
Like that.
Right? Yeah. Because I don't want to say this in a bad way, but the pros always outweigh the cons. Like she's a godly person, like she's there, she's understanding. And that mainly applies in this friendship. She may be able to say this about like other people, but I don't like to keep people like that close to me because it's like I find that in a lot of situations I can benefit their life, but it's like I don't. This can sound real bad.
Oh, do they push me
Yeah,
forward?
like I I don't want some bad
No,
days,
but I understand you. I understand you. I understand
but
you.
I don't need. I have a lot of people that I know, but not a lot of people that I am known by. Like they don't know much about myself. So I had to realize, okay, this friendship is worth me being vulnerable. This friendship is worth me being saying I was wrong. This friendship is worth me saying, Shh, you got me back, but I can listen, you know? And I'm not saying she's the only person in my life like that, but this friendship has taught me how to try to keep those persons as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So this is definitely a learning experience.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad that the other people don't have to go through that version of me.
For sure.
But understanding that people are worth it comes with experiencing them. You know? I feel like I experienced that since she highs, she lows, she sickness. Oh Lord, she sickness. It came with a lot of experience, but when you find people that are worth it, you treat them like they are worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at your friendship and I think it is a beautiful example of what God can do. And as we're wrapping things up, are there any like cornerstone lessons that you guys have learned from your friendship that you want to share with the others?
Guys, we content them?
Oh, yeah.
You go ahead, eh?
Sacrifice. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice your pride. Sacrifice your pride. Sacrifice your pride, right? Because sometimes in some people's lives you could be, and they won't care. But I found that that's the sort of person that when I do this, she can tap me on my shoulder, like,
We'll get on you.
yeah. A person who cares, but in those rough times, in those rough moments, man, the vulnerability that you have to find. So I would definitely say that a rough part is like realizing that you gotta look internally. You gotta look at your flaws. You gotta look at the bad things about yourself.
Yep.
The fact that you like this friendship is equally like your responsibility as it is theirs.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like
Yep.
a lot of reasons why friendships don't work is because you're not willing to sacrifice. And it's most of the time it's be the pride.
Listen, 9 times out of 10.
It's like I don't want to be wrong.
Lord help us.
And if I'm wrong, I don't want to say that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a major part for me, the sacrifice. I don't think if I think of any, I would tell you.
I am actually here thinking over my life right now. This got me thinking. Wait, we're taking so hard.
I can say else.
Go ahead.
I don't want to say that I comparing to other friendships, but this has shown that there are levels to friendship. Like I will call that. Pardon me?
No, you correct.
Yeah. There's levels, and you gotta be okay with that. Like I am not. I am not willing to put as much effort into other friendships as I do with that because here it feels mutual. Some people just draw, but that comes back to the same point of them being worth it. Is this worth me expending myself? Will I be replenished after I expend myself?
Great.
And I could say yes here. In other situations, I may not be able to say that. So I will say that this has taught me that there are levels to friendships, and that's okay. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Alright, I got something now. All I want to say is I think it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that the only way we get to know someone is if they actually let you in. Like actually let you into their mind, the how they think, how they feel. Like I cannot know you, Xavier, unless you tell me things about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could not have possibly gone close to that if she didn't let me into these spaces of her life that were scary to let me in. Like because I got to know her, I actually feel like I get to love her a bit more. Because oftentimes we think that when I show this person this part of me, then they can love me no more.
Yeah.
Because I just see that part. I'm like, you're more than that.
Yeah.
Like when I will always tell Des, you are destiny. Like I don't see just that. I see you like as a person, as an individual. But that starts with being vulnerable and letting those walls down and discovering even what you built up those walls in the first place.
Correct.
That is going deep. Oh my gosh. But that's a powerful one in vulnerability because that it is one of the hardest things to do. And I'm talking from a man's perspective.
Yeah.
Like giving yourself the permission to appear weak in front of someone that's safe enough to lift you back up. That is rare.
Yeah.
So then the apprehension is like you said, if I tell you this, will you look at me differently? If I tell you this, are you going to lose respect for me? But then when you find that true person that is worth the fight, that is there,
Yeah.
and you can share that with, there's a freedom that comes with that is insane. Because you know that when you go through your battles,
For sure.
you got somebody
Yeah.
in your corner,
I
right?
was actually going to talk about that because, like, especially being Christians, we know spiritual warfare.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. There. Oh, I'd be tired. But the spiritual warfare is be so real. And over the last couple of months, I've been mindful of how we battle not against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
And we need people to pray for us.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a Christmas that told me she wanted a poem for Christmas because she likes poems. So I'm gonna write a poem for her. So I wrote a poem about our friendship actually, and I remember a line saying, "In the spirit, no war can be won over you," because I told her I can't fight for you physically, but in the spirit, no war can be won over you. I think that that's one of my favorite things about our friendship. Like, you down, I can pray for you. Like, and I think that that's very, very important for me in a friend because of where I am at spiritually and with God. I need someone that will be able to pray for me, especially because these demons don't be playing, so we can't be playing too. But I need someone that will fight for me. And even I remember that's had this really bad allergic reaction in November. I almost died. She actually almost died. Cashews? Come on now. So it was very, very bad. Like she actually almost died. And I remember as we were rushing to get her to urgent care, and she was in the back seat laying down. And I felt like we were praying. And then I felt like, nah. I felt like I get into gear when I realized that this is more than just like a low minor allergy. Like she could die. I felt myself fighting for my friend's life. Like
Yeah.
actually fighting for my friend's life because B, it's like,
In no way that you can take out.
not no. Yeah. And I really feel like that's a posture that we have in our friendship.
I just wanted to add on that same point, like something that I, in hearing about and the glimpses of the memories. I know you said you were wrapping up, but just
No. You good. You good.
but what you saw is what you reap. On that day when they were praying and singing in the car, right? I remember That's hand on me. I remember it very clearly. Her hand was on me and she was just like, That's you there? And whoever I could have mumbled. And then like at first it was just her praying. She was just like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Then she started to sing. Right? So like I feel like we always singing that. So it's always you always sing. So she was singing and I felt like my soul was singing on my behalf.
It was
Like,
for sure.
Like I remember I keep saying like I'm really sorry. But I remember like singing some verses of the song that she was singing. But then in what she would have told me, she was just like, Yes, you was singing along with me. You was singing along with me. And I feel like that's because of the like as her soul side, my soul side along with her, right? Even though in my body I was passing in and out,
Yeah.
itching, everything was swollen. But because her song started, I joined the chorus, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was, as she said, very spiritual. And I saw the knitted souls.
Yeah. We was saying knitted souls like David and Jonathan.
Listen, don't get me started on you two of them.
That there was some because so often spiritually we are very connected. Like it could be scary. So we speak in tongues with Sparlow. Like it's been very, very scary. Like I remember a year I had a dream and she had a dream the same night and it actually happened in real life. And my dream was the first thing that happened, and then her dream was the second thing that happened. Like, it was literally connected.
Whoa.
But I remember at the time, honestly, being scared that it was because soul ties are not only just romantic.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen because of sexual stuff, but soul ties can happen, in friendships. And I felt like I was scared that it was not a good soul tie. I felt like my mind was so scared. So that's even when we were praying about the friendship, asking God if this is not of you, God, if it's not to be this way, because I felt like no other friend makes me as man. I didn't expect that you did that.
Truth. Nah, but
It's true.
Not because I was like, there's things that she can do. No, that thing that she cannot do. Wait, what was it?
They that other people get away with that hyper.
So there's things that other people can do that she cannot do. Because I actually feel like I would be so mad. And I thought like, God, this is you? God, this is you? Because I didn't want that for my life. I don't want any negative soul tie in my life.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. And I was being very mindful of that as we prayed and I said like literally after that we got closer and certain things broke off in a much healthier way. Like I definitely can say our friendship is much healthier than it used to be. Like obviously it's what is down moments for sure. But I can say it's definitely much healthier than it used to be. And I think it's because I feel like we genuinely surrender the friendship to God. And I can't say she's my native soul. Um, like Jonathan or if I say whoever's David, whoever Jonathan.
Yeah, I want Jonathan and David did too much.
Okay, I'll be David, no problem. To the point that now we lead the youth ministry at our church, and it's like we are core leaders basically in leading youth ministry. And I find that in country youth ministries, and I find that leading a youth ministry with a friend, with my best friend, have been very helpful.
But yeah, when you guys share your testimony, I'm hearing how having God at the center really made a difference. I hear sacrifice. I hear laying your pride down, allowing God to stretch you, and just surrendering to the process.
Precisely.
Because once you guys figured out that this was God's will,
Yeah.
then you start to lean in, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's the last thing you want to do. Because at the end of that obedience,
Yeah.
you guys are now seeing the impact that it's having to the point where you guys are now impacting the generation coming behind.
Yep.
So, y'all, I want to thank you. This was a good conversation.
It really was.
I think we learned more about friendships, the impact of them, the importance of them. And guys, I hope that you hear that friendships are worth fighting for. This is an area of our life that we can be intentional and find the people we're supposed to run with. And when we do, my gosh, they ain't no stopping us.
But
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. There's much more to come this month, but until next time, I pray that you stay blessed and God bless you. Peace.